Mikey and Rinne stay in. Oh yeah.
Ready? You good?
Yep.
Up for optimism! Okay. Hi guys, welcome to Mikey and Rinne Stay In. I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
And this is episode number 6.
Whoa.
Pick up sticks. Okay. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty well. It's super sunny. It's like summertime
Yeah.
in Portland.
Yeah, Portland is popping off right now. We just had Pride this weekend, which was like sunny and hot and gay and lovely and so much fun. Abby actually has her LGBT unicorn in with her right now. See the? I can show you our little rainbow unicorn. LGBT unicorn, so much fun. She loves it.
Yeah, arguably her favorite toy, actually.
Oh yeah, totally. Last week we had our friend Janet on for an interview.
Yay,
Which was-
Janet!
yeah. She was great. It was so fun. Our friend from college, and she told stories of her baby journey.
Yeah, I thought Janet was just spectacular on all levels. It was so interesting to hear about her journey and to also hear about the sort of connection that she thought there was between sort of having some autoimmune stuff and having difficulty getting pregnant. And it's just stuff that we don't really hear about or talk about. And so, Janet, we love you. We really appreciate you being on the show and just like bearing your soul and being so real and at the same time funny and amazing. And
Yeah, it was awesome.
it was a dream.
And it was totally something that she reached out to us, and that was great. And this is something we'd love to hear from you. If you know us, if we're friends with you, if we're not friends with you, if you want to be a new friend, and you want to come on and you can tell happy, sad, indifferent, crazy, not crazy, any stories that you feel like you aren't hearing and you aren't telling that often. Because this has been the biggest thing for us. I think we've mentioned it before, but talking about the miscarriage that Corinne and I had, and I say that because like Corinne had the miscarriage, but it was something that I went through as well, and I think it's something that men don't think that they're allowed to talk about. I don't know. We've heard some stories on a lot of sides of things about the way that men have reacted to miscarriages, and some I think appropriate, being sad and going through things with their wives, and some not appropriate and quite disturbing. So I don't know. I want to hear all the stories from everybody. And so if you have something that you want to talk to us about, whatever. Letseat at mikeyandrinnestayin.com. You can send us a voice memo or just send us an email. We can read it on the air. Or send us a note and we can set up a way that you can call in and you can be on the air like Janet was.
We've worked out all the kinks now, so
Well,
I think we know how to do it. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. If you listen to the last episode and you know anything about like sound engineering, I did a terrible job. We were on like one microphone. We were huddled around. We didn't have a video last week because we looked like idiots. We were like, Rinne was basically like on my lap or on my shoulders, just like a gargoyle, like doing the whole thing. So solid.
Yeah.
So we're in it. We're in full summer mode. We are to take you to the bone zone. We're trying to have a baby again.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's super fun. We're like back into like chasing the ovulation window.
Yeah, taking herbs. I'm getting acupuncture.
Yeah.
2 of my favorite parts of Chinese herbal medicine or Chinese medicine, acupuncture
Totally.
and herbs. And yeah, feels good.
Yeah, trying to not drink right now, which is super hard since it's like sunny porch season.
Right.
Keep our bodies a temple.
Yeah, except as you will see, I have 2 beverages lined up right here. So maybe not drinking alcohol, but drinking
whiskey.
all the things.
It's like
all
whiskey
the other
and then
things.
like a Mike's Hard Lemonade in a mason jar.
Totally.
Classy.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's
stuff
talk about
in
this.
front of us.
So our first signature segment, is eating our feelings.
Yeah.
So this is the segment where we eat something on microphone or drink, and you can listen to us chomp, 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 and glug, glug, glug into our microphones. And then we'll share the recipes with you. These are all things obviously super important when you're pregnant, what you're consuming, but also equally as important when you're trying to get pregnant or just trying to be a healthy human in the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this little glass, for those of you that can see us with your eyes, we have some bone broth, some chicken bone broth in this cup right here that we just heated up. So careful, it's like hot lava right now.
I can't drink things if they're over the temperature of like 98.1 degrees. So I'm like,
you're gonna have to give that about 4 days.
Yeah, so. I'm gonna drink this on Thursday of next week.
So bone broth, whole host of really wonderful, amazing healing properties. You know, we've got a ton of amino acids in here. We've got collagen in here, and it's actually super delicious. I know that like just sipping on bone broth maybe seems like kind of a stretch.
Right, and we live in Portland where it's like people are like have bone broth in their camelbacks while they're running.
Right.
People are such fucking weirdos here. It's like everybody in the rest of the country's like, oh, kombucha, this is interesting. And Portland's like, yeah, I've been mainlining kombucha for 15 years.
Exactly. But bone broth is actually really delicious. And what I've been doing lately is starting my day with just about 8 ounces of bone broth.
Yeah.
And we actually make it at home. So this sort of leads us into our next little segment here. Our bindle of the week is going to be, for me, creating your own bone broth.
Yeah, so bindle of the week is the way that we're saving money right now. So,
yeah.
So Rinne's saving us money by making bone broth. Because bone broth, especially good organic bone broth, I mean, you have like Pacific Foods and things like that. But I mean, you're buying organic bone broth at a nice supermarket and it's
insane.
$15
ridiculously
for
expensive.
2 cups or whatever. It's crazy expensive.
And you know, the one that you want to look for if you do have the money to spend it in a grocery store is one that's frozen or refrigerated. You don't want the you mentioned the Pacific. You kind of don't want the one that's just on the shelf.
This is it's so delicious. I'm gonna get a blistering, scalding tongue burn if I drink more than I just did, but I just had like maybe a 1/16 of an ounce and it was delicious.
And you guys are also going to get a blistering ear burn listening to Mikey.
Yeah. Oh, and then vomiting up my throat lining.
Right. But actually making your own bone broth is super easy. It's time intensive in how long it actually takes, but it's not labor intensive in how long you actually have to be watching it for.
And have you been doing it in the Instant Pot?
Yes.
Is it Insta or Instant?
Instant.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Shout out to my Instant Pot. I really do. I love that thing.
Yeah,
But
I don't know if I love it or hate it, but I love it, kind of.
You can totally make bone broth in a slow cooker. You can also pop it in a pot on the oven or on the stove.
Yeah. I like to do my bone broth like sun tea. I just put it in like room temperature water and then just leave it out in the sun for a couple days during the summer.
Please don't do that.
Ooh, is this bone broth tea? Sunbone tea? Sunbone?
Complete with salmonella?
Yeah. Fun.
So yeah, it's actually super easy to make, and you can do bone broth with chicken bones, beef bones, pork bones, fish bones, even whatever you like. And what we typically do is we'll get a whole chicken and then roast that, and then sort of use those bones, the bones that you would normally compost or maybe do something else with. You can use those for your bone broth.
Yeah.
Or many farmers and even your grocery store meat counter will likely have bones, especially beef bones. Those seem to be the most available.
Well, and at our farmers market, some of the peeps that we get from like a lot of our meat from, they're doing like beef and pork bones for, I think they're $1 a pound right now or something, or $1 a bag maybe. It was something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, very cheap and totally worth it, especially with how expensive bone broth is. And so I end up like, I'll use not necessarily bone broth, but chicken broth and things like that. Like sometimes I'll cook my pasta in it. I keep one aside that I'll cook pasta in, and I'll use that a couple times. And then you can cook it down and make a sauce out of it. It's so delicious. But just never, don't ever throw away your broth. If you use it to cook stuff, always use it and then drink it, eat it, or whatever. Because it's one of the most valuable things you can have. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're gonna keep it in your fridge for the whole week, or if you want to keep it for longer, if you make a huge batch, we'll typically just freeze it and then take it out in chunks as we're using it.
Yeah. This one is the best that you've made. I mean,
Yeah, it's so
first of all,
good.
if you're on YouTube and you can see this, like this is chicken broth. It's dark. It looks like beef broth or pho or something. I mean, it's crazy dark.
Well,
so.
there's this, there's this fat layer on the top there.
Fun.
Yeah, so this was a really successful batch. And what we'll do is we will, on YouTube, right, we'll link we'll give some instructions
Recipe.
on how to make,
Yeah.
It's super, super, super easy.
Awesome. All right, so, my bindle.
Yeah, what's your bindle sheet?
So my bindle of the week, I have two of them actually, and one of them you're going to be embarrassed
Can't
for
wait.
me about, yeah. So
Kind
the
of takes a lot to embarrass me, so let's
That's
see.
true. So the Sheether family, my family, it's my last name. They're infamous for reusing tea bags.
Oh yes, they do love that.
Yeah, so my parents will use especially my dad and sister. They'll use a tea bag, fully steep it in the tea or whatever, and then they just leave the tea bag on the counter, like on a little plate. That so it ends up looking like this like dried, sad scrotum that's been left on the beach. It's like dried up there and corpse just, and then they'll reuse it like for days, and it's amazing. One, my family doesn't like very strong tea, so
Sure.
that's like a thing. I get it, but I've been doing it a little bit lately. So I was just in Dallas for work, and I reused a tea bag a couple times, and like it actually made the tea like my perfect level of tea-ness, like not too crazy, not too strong, just whatever.
You said
Tea-ness. Shout outs to Dennis.
Oh.
Who was the DJ at our wedding? His name was Dennis, but with one N. I hope he listens. So we're going Dennis. I love that guy. So that's my first bindle is like reuse your tea bags.
No, that's
I
actually
know.
really good. It's a good bindle, and it's also a good earth-saving measure.
Yeah.
Like how ridiculous that we're
I think
using
it's awesome.
tea bags in the first place.
Sure.
So you just get some loose tea, but
Right. Well, but I don't fucking do that. I mean, it's like I don't know. That sounds messy and gotta have the right thing. I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
Infuser.
Right, fuck you. Judgmental dick corner. And then my second bindle is another one of these ones that I think people would listen and they'd be like, yeah, my big fucking dove, been doing that forever. But my second one is warranties.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Great.
I recently, this is why I've really been on this warranty hunt. Is like, so we bought new headlights for our car. I put them in myself. It's like the only manly thing that I can do with our car. Like, besides like pumping gas. Like, I'm like, oh man, I replaced the headlights. on our fucking,
See how big my dick is?
on our Subaru hybrid. I'm just like, bro, man. And so I put in new headlights, and like 2 weeks later, one of the headlights died. And I was fucking pissed because I got,
know that.
I think relatively like the kind of mid-range, maybe mid to high range headlights. So they were like $20 or something, and I was pissed. And I went back in, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, these are covered under a year warranty." And so new headlights, new both of them. And then our lawnmower just died, warranty. Our like even small things, like everything has a warranty.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. So anyways, big duh. Warranties are cool. That's where I'm at.
Good for you.
Thanks. All right, you go next. What's our next thing? Oh, next thing is pro tip.
Oh,
So this
tip.
Yeah, this is where we give kind of our advice. So again, I am a chef and a food guy, so I'll give oftentimes kind of food tips. And then Rinne is a pediatric acupuncturist and a behavioral psychologist. She's a primatologist. She works with monkeys. And a mycologist. She's a mushroom expert. No, she is also an integrative nutritionist.
Yeah, this might be another kind of big duh thing, but what we've been doing a lot lately. So I've been thinking a lot about nutrition, especially with trying to get pregnant after having a miscarriage, and particularly after having a miscarriage, just thinking about iron stores after losing a lot of blood. When you are pregnant, you're...
So, iron stores, it's like, yeah, that's where The Rock spends most of his time. Just getting iron at the iron stores, getting fucking swole.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, most of the time during a miscarriage, a fair amount of blood is lost, and so you want to think about sort of replenishing those iron stores, right? And you can do that through supplementation. I like to do as much as I can do through my food.
Totally.
And so we have had the trickiest time with sort of like non-stick pans, right?
Oof.
For cooking eggs, let's say.
Yeah. I know a friend of ours hi Carrie, reached out recently to ask like what our pan selection is, and I was like, or non-stick specifically.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't really have one.
Because we're looking for one that's like ceramic plated, and I don't know. It's just been a mess. I think.
Well, and I think the best one that we had was the cheapest one that we got.
Right.
Like I think I picked one up at like Kroger or whatever, and it was like $10 or something like that. And that one lasted for longer than like the $30 and $40 pans that we had that got all scratched up. And like we're not using like the
Brillo pad.
Yeah, the Brillo pad or like a chainmail shit to like scrape stuff off. It's just like a regular sponge, and it's like scratching and terrible. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lately, we've totally scrapped the idea of nonstick and just started using, a cast iron pan. And it's so brilliant. It cooks eggs beautifully. It kind of cooks anything beautifully.
Yeah.
You can really use a cast iron pan, wouldn't you say?
Oh,
as
yeah.
a chef for pretty much everything.
Yeah, and cast iron pans. It's like, and we have large cast iron pans. Like they're the normal ones. They're not anything crazy.
But we've had them for
ever.
years.
Yeah, totally. And we have like the one that's like probably 10 inches or maybe 12 inches, and then we have a 15-inch one. It's a huge one that you can cook like 2 chickens side by side in, and they're awesome. I mean, I don't know. It's totally the way to go. And I get it that it's like, you get the like a perfect nonstick for like an omelet or something like that, but like, I don't know, dude, I'm not that precious. We also like kind of like a seared egg with like the crispy edges. Woo! Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cast iron for, I'm just going to say cooking everything.
Yeah.
Fuck the non-stick is what I say.
Heard it here first, folks. Shots fired. That's great.
So really brilliant cooking, and then also some added iron bennies in there too.
Nice job, Rinne.
Where are you headed, Chief? Oh, here
Yeah.
he goes.
I'm going to get my pro tip of the week. So my pro tip, for those of you on YouTube, I'm holding a thing that kind of looks like a penis pump. And a meat grinder mixed together. So this is my new, I got this thing on sale at Fred Meyer's, which is like our Kroger store. And it's called the Chef, the brand is Chefman or Chefman. And I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's awesome. So this thing, Rinne hates it, but I think it's awesome. And basically what it is, it's like a frozen sorbet maker. So you just put frozen fruit in the top, and it literally is just like a meat grinder. This was like $30 maybe, and you just go and grind it through, and then it poops it out the bottom here, and it's like a fresh fruit sorbet. But you can put nuts in with it. Fresh fruit poop sorbet. You should. And so this is like, and so you can pipe it into like the little silicone molds and make fruit bars. All of these are like, I'm just hot, and it's summertime, and I'm hot. I'm just sweaty all the time. I'm pink, and I just need, especially like we're not drinking right now, so I need a little treat. And so I've just been making these like fun little, I don't have my little bar thing yet, but like I've just made a couple things out of here, and it's like strawberries and mango and like some cashews, and it just makes this nice little like, like natural sugar treat, so no added sugar, and it's delicious.
Chefy, could you add in, let's say, like some collagen, like the collagen peptides, for example, and then have that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like, they say you can add in like melted chocolate and things like that. I haven't really played around that much. It's a little bit squirrely. It's also not like, not the most well-designed thing. It's like all made out of plastic, so I'm gonna definitely break it in the next like fucking week.
Sure.
But anyways, I think Chefman brand is probably going out of business or something, because it's like every end cap at Fred Meyer's has these on like fire sale, like 70% off. So, but yeah, try it out. I don't know, whatever. Product plugs. Chefman, if you aren't out of business yet, sponsor us, bitch. Aubrey, what do you think?
Yeah, I love that. All right, let's move this train right along. And
We're good on time here. We're only like 20 minutes in, maybe 18 minutes in.
That's great. I really like our efficiency.
Just lounge with it. Who do you love? Are you Joe? That's Ladies Love Cool James.
Wow.
The Loungin' Remix.
Yeah.
How you doing, miss? My name is Ella from Queens.
God, I had a really good 90s R&B breakfast morning this morning, by the way. It was like replete with Mary J. Blige and Johnny Gill and Blackstreet. And
If you aren't, first of all, mid-show, late to mid-show plug. First of all, what the dick are you guys doing not reviewing us on iTunes? We have a couple. We have like 7. They're great. Yeah, but there's more people listening to than that. Go to iTunes, like us, subscribe, review.
Do it while you're listening to a 90s R&B slow jam.
Yeah, you'll be very sexually aroused and you want to really say some great things.
Yes.
Secondly, if you're not following us on Instagram, it's Mikey and Rinne Stay In. Twitter is at Mikey and Rinne. And I'm always posting weird shit about what we do. And one of the things I posted about was I came downstairs and Corinne was listening to Boyz II Men so loudly that like I could hear.
Is there any other way to listen to Boyz II Men than so loudly?
No, you're not wrong about that. But yeah, we always do our R&B breakfast, so 90s R&B breakfast, and it's super fun. Drew Hill, all the people that we love. It's just so much romance and so many memories of dry humping in high school. Oh yeah, if I dry humped you or dry humped with you in high school, shout out, listen to the podcast. Tell us about it. Was it fun? Was I a selfish lover? I definitely wasn't a lover at that time. I was I was like just trying not to throw up because I was so nervous making out with girls. So sorry if I puked on you. Okay. So last but not least, I'm calling this is my new signature segment.
Yeah, tell us about it.
It's called How Does the South Hate Women This Week?
Oh.
Yeah. So what are they doing in the South to express their hatred for women?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
About it.
There's a ton of shit. Obviously, I hope you're following in the news. I mean, there's a lot of states. I think most of the country, on some level, hates women. There's a lot of shitty lawmakers that are out there trying to make women's access to healthcare, women's access to just about anything that helps them harder. But especially in the South. So good work, guys. It's hot, sweaty, and also hateful. So, but I always say this, and I'm very judgmental about the South. And I shouldn't be. We have lots of friends in the South. Good for you. I love you. I think there's a lot of really awesome freedom fighters and stuff down there. We need you. But I often say these things and think, oh yeah, like these legislators are making these decisions because their constituents want this. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, I'm hearing about, the restrictions to abortion and everybody's like, it's all these white men that are causing this. Well, no, there's actually a lot of white women. There's a lot of white Republicans that are down there doing the same thing. A lot of other color Republicans that are down there doing the same thing, that they hate abortion and they hate access to health care. But I just read this article recently in the Washington Post. And what they were talking about basically is that a lot of these laws are being passed without constituents. So a lot of these laws are not being voted on; they're being passed through the legislature. Right. And so here's a couple quotes. So in no state, this is no state anywhere in the country, did even 25% of people support banning abortion. And even in Alabama, only 1 in 5 of people, both sides of the aisle, support abortion bans.
Wow.
It's just another example, like when we try to pass gun control measures or anything like that, which are unanimous, overwhelmingly supported, in the 60% or higher. And then the NRA gets to all of the people in the Senate and Congress, and they don't let it get passed. This is not democracy. This is not a government of the people for the people. And so here's another quote. On average, we found that state legislators overestimated their district support for abortion bans by over 15 percentage points.
Wow.
Yeah. So what are we doing here, folks?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we're calling our legislators.
Yeah. So call your legislators. I can't remember that website right now, but if you go on your state legislator website, go on your state website, you can look up all of the main office numbers for your peeps. So call them.
We can also link it on YouTube once we sort it out.
Totally. But this was just, and I must admit, this information kind of flew in the face of the stereotype judgment that I generally make about the South, and there's a lot of other states that are making shitty decisions. And but this kind of showed me that it's maybe not the people, not the people that are voting. So do better, legislators, you dicks, with your dicks.
Reach.
Yeah. And also, I think what a lot of this says is throw them out.
Yeah.
We need more women in office. We need more women of color in office. We need more people that represent actually what the people want. And I think we can do that. Voting is the best way to go. I love the idea of impeaching Donald Trump. I even love more the idea of voting that motherfucker out of office and shaming him into his jail cell in the Southern District of New York.
Sounds glorious.
Where they'll take his fucking hair and they won't let him take it in. Oh my god, imagine if he's bald, fat, and getting beaten up in prison.
Oh god.
Sorry, Secret Service, I didn't mean that. Anyways, let's see where we're at here. Oh yeah, only 24 minutes.
That's pretty good. We had a speedy episode
I know,
today.
I hope it didn't feel speedy. I hope it felt like you guys got to luxuriate. Luxuriate?
We can luxuriate.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, next week I think we're gonna try to have. We're gonna be in New York City next week. So we might record a podcast there. We might not. I'm not sure about that. Maybe we'll try to do it before we go. Probably not. But our next episode, I think we're gonna try to have an interview.
I would love to have an interview. So this is another call to everybody listening. Our women friends, our women allies, if you guys have, we want to hear your stories for sure. Your stories of baby making, your stories of not making babies, your stories of reproductive health. We really want to hear from you.
Yeah.
And so again, let's eat at Mikey and Rinne Stay In. Shoot us an email, shoot us a voice memo, or
I just thought about the other day I went to check that account and what it said was it was TO: let's eat at mikeyandrinnestay.com. And so what it looks like is TOLET eat. So it looks like toilet seat.
toilet seat.
At Mikey and Rinne Stay In.
That's about the size of it, folks. Toilet seat at Mikey and Rinne Stay In. Yep.
That email address is for pooping stories. Are you glad that you wasted a half hour with us today?
I know how quickly it devolves.
Hope you like us.
So share your stories with us. We really want to hear from you. We feel like we're just creating a really thriving community here, and it's really important to us that you're a big part of it, and it's not just us wagging our chins.
Chin wagon. You got anything to say about that?
Bye.
YouTube, you can't even see her. She's inside of her little clam. All right, you guys. So join us next week on every Wednesday. Mikey and Rinne Stay In dropping for you, and we're gonna have some interviews. We're gonna have some fun stuff. Again, iTunes, love us, support us, give us your honest opinion. If you don't love us, tell us about that too, but maybe not.
Send that to toilet seat at Mikey.
Toilet seat, or send it to I don't know who's our favorite. Send it to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. thedevil.com. And then YouTube, watch us. That's where you can see our pretty faces. And then, let's see, Twitter's is at Mikey and Rinne. Did I get all the socials?
Instagrammy.
Oh, Instagram, Mikey and Rinne Stay In. Facebook, Mikey and Rinne Stay In. I don't know.
That's it.
Grindr, we're on there. Find us. Okay.
Grind us.
Nailed it. All right, you guys, I'm Mikey.
And I'm Rinne.
And tonight, we're gonna stay